A very good morning to you. How are you doing? Welcome to the Financial Clinic. Leo ni siku ya clinic. Ni siku ya kuchanja watu. Bench tumeweka hapo nje kama kawaida. We are ready to go. Financial Clinic on Jam 316. Thank you so much for taking the time to hook up with us on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Every Wednesday we take some time to talk about issues, money, your money, and we grow together where our finances are concerned. So I'm so glad you're tuned in today. We have an amazing topic we want to cover today. But before we get to that, I have a question for you. And the question is simply this. If money was not an issue, what would you do with your life? If money was not an issue, I realize a good number of us, we wake up in the morning, we go to work, good number of us jobs we don't even really like, because we need to get money to pay our bills. We need to pay house rent, we need food to eat, we need clothes on our bodies, watoto lazima waende shule, and once in a while you need a few extra coins kuambia mwili pole. You know how life is. But supposing money was not an issue, it's readily available, as much as you want, depending on what you want to do with it. The question then is, what would you do with your life? It's interesting, a good number of people have no idea how to answer that question because it's not something you've ever thought of. And I think that's why many of us are in that cycle where we are running after money. It's never enough. We are barely getting through the month. More month at the end of the money. More month at the end of the money. We wake up one day, we are old, and it's time to retire and pass on to eternity. I mean, there's got to be more to life than just working for money. And so the question again, if money was not an issue, what would you do with your life? Because the thing is, if you can't answer that question, then you have no idea how much money you need because you don't know what you want to do. I have several SMSs coming in with an answer to that question. If money was not a problem, I would start a special needs resource center for children with special needs and train them and the parents on how to get to their full potential. And when they are grown, they would have jobs they can do. I would go to Bible school and learn how to give them hope using God's word. That's somebody who's very specific about what they would want to do. Let me read some more SMSs coming in. If money was not an issue, I would have built at least 20 churches in every sub-county. This is Morris from Mombasa. Morris is a church builder. Hey, okay. Martha Ann, how are you doing today? You say, sheltering and loving the lost, the broken, and the bound. And I know, Martha Ann, you're already doing that, so you are on the right track. So those are a few examples. Na je wewe, hebu nieleze, money is not an issue. Pesa iko, shida ni kutumia. What would you do with your life? I have two amazing guests. I will be introducing them to us in the next short while. Today we are talking about how to finance your vision. How do you finance your vision? And if you have any question, I would invite you to send it in early as we get into this conversation. 20316 is the SMS line, and the WhatsApp number is 0786316316. If you're tuned in as well and you are living your vision, you're in the process of fulfilling your vision, tell us your story. How did you get to finance that vision? We would love to know so that we can learn from you as well. As always, Financial Clinic question is, if money was not an issue, what would you be doing with your life? Interesting comments coming through. Stephen in Kahawa says, if money was not an issue, charity has always been my dream. Now I do it, but at a small scale due to limited financial strength. So Steve is already living his dream and his vision. It is just charity work. He would just blow that out if he had the money. I'm having another one here. It says, if money was not an issue, I would travel the globe, giving psychoeducation and teaching people how to take care of their mental needs. That's a good one. Terry in Mombasa, good morning. If money was not an issue, I would spend my time winning souls for Christ and discipling them, as well as open a center to provide skills for the disabled. Wonderful. This morning, we are blessed to be joined by two amazing women. They talk money everywhere they go. You and your kazi yao. And that's why I invited them, because they can help us to dig deeper into this discussion. And joining us via Zoom, Stella Chepngeno. Stella, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very fine. It's always a blessing to have you. Karibu sana.
Asante.
We also have Maureen Betty. Maureen, how are you?
I'm fine, James. How are you?
I'm very fine. Karibu sana. Good to have you on the show as well today.
Asante.
Great. So I'm just wondering, maybe I can begin with you, Maureen. I find it interesting that a good number of people are not able to clearly answer the question I'm asking. If money was not an issue, what would you do with your life? A good number of people get stuck on that question. Why do you think that is so?
First of all, I'm very happy about the answers that have been given.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could see, people are interested in doing, giving back to the society, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And that is something which most people have been, in one way or another, are not able to do because they are not able to have money.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to know that people out there care about people. It's interesting to know that people have big things they want to do, just that they do not have money. So most people may not be able to answer that question because maybe we lack a vision and we lack where exactly we want to be. Just like you started by saying, you wake up in the morning, you go attend to your 9-to-5 job, come back to their house, expect a salary at the end of the month, and that is it. So to them, life is that. Without that job, like life comes to a standstill, yeah? And that is not really a good situation for us to be in. That is why it is very good to at least have a clear vision of where we want to be, that past the job, or if the job gives us the satisfaction that we really want, then what would we really do with our lives? What can we do differently just to impact the society or just to make ourselves fulfilled in life?
Okay.
Yeah.
Stella, I'm just wondering, even just to what Maureen has referred to, that whole people call it the rat race. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you come back in the evening, you're so tired. And for the majority of the people, if you talk to them, they will tell you their salary is not enough. They're barely able to meet their everyday needs. I'm just wondering, are we doomed to that kind of lifestyle, or is there a hope?
Thank you so much, James, for that question. I really do appreciate being here. What I would say is this. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, that my people, where there's no vision, the people perish. So I've just taken a part of it. So where there's no vision, my people perish. So for that matter, we are not doomed. What I would go back to the socialization process. We do what we see other people doing. That's why they say the children copy what they see us doing. So we are doing what we saw other people doing, and we fear to test the waters. When you are growing up, you are told go to school, get a job, earn a salary. Nobody ever told you that there is another way. So that's how you grew up. Our parents told us, grow up, go to college, get a degree, be a teacher. You know, that is all they knew. So that is where the challenge is. And now we want to break the banks and be able to ask ourselves, what else can we be able to do? Is that the only way? So we need now to come out of that and be able to test and ask ourselves, is that the only way? And I think that's where people are stuck. Is that the only way? The other thing is fear. You are working out of a point of fear. You are fearing what will happen to me if, you know, I lost this job. What will happen to me if, you know, I tried this business? So we are actually operating from a point of fear. So once you remove that fear, once you test that waters and ask yourself, what if I don't have my job today? And I think COVID has come to help us test that fear by force.
Yes.
And so we know, yes, we can survive without that job. Yes, we can, but one of the things that we need to be very clear of is, where are we going? Because that's where the challenge is. Where are we going as an individual and as a family?
You know, just reading some of these SMSs, Maureen, like you said earlier, I mean, people have got some wonderful things. I think it's only 1 or 2 people who are already doing that thing they've been dreaming of, even though on a very small scale, and they're saying, if I get the money, I'll just expand what I'm already doing. But for the majority, it's iko na huko mbele hapo kwa karibu na kona hapo. You know, it's something they've thought of, but they've never actually engaged in it. And I'm just wondering, is vision determined by money? Maureen?
Well, I would say yes and no.
Okay.
No, because we need money to do a lot of things, but it does not stop at money. Yeah? If you have a clear vision and you really want to get to it, sometimes you can just put it out there and even get financing for your vision. So, well, money we may not say that our vision will stop at us not having money, because we may look for alternatives to have it work. I may not do it for myself, but I will go out there, I'll put my vision out there, I'll talk to people, I'll do something. And once you just make it clear that this is where I want to go. Out here, there are people who are ready to finance what we think of. There are people out here who are ready to just make our ideas something so beautiful. So, well, us not having money does not stop us. But at the same time, I would say yes, because in one way or another, we need money to do 1, 2, 3 things. So in the event, we may not have maybe a support system. In the event, you may not be in an environment that enables us be able to, get that idea out there and get it working, then we also need capacity on our own. That is why, even though we would want people to support us, even though we would bank on goodwill, we also need to also have a way on our own that, what if this fails? What if I do not have people? What if this and this does not? So I should be able to do something, at least on my own. I should keep this running. I should keep this moving. And that is why it is very important to be intentional. If you have something in mind or whatever, or something you want to do in the future, it is very good to be intentional and just make it like the buck stops to do. Like, if I don't do anything about it, then it will not go anywhere. It will not get done. So give yourself that capacity to do it. You may not get to the extent you want to, but at least start from somewhere.
Stella, do you share the same sentiments, or do you have a different opinion? Is vision determined by money?
No, it's not determined by money in one line. So I share the same sentiments, and the other line, it is determined by money. Because at the end of it all, James, it is money is the thing that gets us to the next place. But it's not the only thing. It's not the only thing, because what I usually say is this: sometimes some things don't require money. For example, sometimes it requires just your time. It requires your time. So you need to be able to see what resources do you have now? What resources do you have now to be able to start whatever you want to do in your life? What resources do you have now to be able to achieve your dream? So the first thing is look within what resources, and then look at your networks. Are there people that you can be able to share your vision with that can enable you achieve that vision? So that is also another way. Look at the resources that you have, and then look at the networks. Who is this person who can be able to help you? Because an idea within yourself, which you have not shared, does not help anyone. Maybe you could share with 1 or 2 people, and they connect you to somebody who has those resources or the money that can now take your vision to the next level. So for example, let me use an example. We've seen a lot of people doing helping people online on Facebook, for example, and we have someone who is sick, and they put out there in the limelight, and people have come out in large numbers, and they have helped these people, and they have changed their lives. Maybe the person who put out there did not have a lot of money to do that, but they were able to bring out the vision to be able to help that person, because they have that need within themselves. So for me, it is either way. You look at it from both sides, because you should not get stuck somewhere because you do not have the resources. You have, let me say, we have a family of people who have resources, but they do not know. You have money, but they do not know where to take it. So let's come out. Let's not just write down the vision. Write down the vision. What exactly you want to achieve from 10 years from now, 20 years from now? If your life was just straight, if things were right, you were okay, if money was not a problem, write down. It has to be very clear. Just write down, forget everything else, go to a room and just write down exactly how you want it to be. And let me tell you, the power of writing, it will just unfold by the grace of God. And God will give you that connection to the people that will help you achieve the vision.
Wow.
Thank
I
you.
like that because, and the reason I'm asking that question is because I realize that, okay, you have a good number of people who have a vision. They have an idea. It may not be clearly articulated in detail, but they have an idea. I want to help the elderly. How that is going to work out, I have no idea, but that's the area I want to go. And I find we don't do anything about those dreams because we look at what we have in our hands right now. I only have a job that gives me 45,000 bob a month, which is barely enough to meet my monthly needs. So this dream, I will push it somewhere in a corner, and maybe one day, if I discover I have an inheritance, or maybe one day just out of nowhere God performs a miracle and I have several millions, maybe I can begin to revive that dream. And so a lot of us don't do anything about the dream because we feel like, I don't have the resources. Why even dream about something that is not even practical to do right now? Maureen, is that the right attitude to have?
No, it is not. Because
Why?
there's always something we can do.
Okay.
And when it comes to money, we just have to have a plan also for our money.
Okay.
You see, we cannot say we have enough. Everyone out here, with or without a vision, they always don't have enough. That's why we are out there doing whatever we are doing to make ends meet. But that being said, it calls upon us also to intentionally purpose to budget our money and plan it accordingly. So that if at all I have this goal in mind, you are told if you have this goal in mind, you'll be able to set strategies to help you achieve that goal. It does not matter. It does not matter how much you have right now. The point is just start. So I would say with the little you have, if you're earning whatever amount of money, it may look little, but if you plan it accordingly, you can set aside some amount of money, however little, as long as you start setting it aside and saving it towards that goal. That's why we are told, have a saving plan, but have it with a goal in mind. Because I want to do something A, B, C. Of course, I've already put down ABC will require this and these resources.
Okay.
ABC will require this and this. So I give myself a timeline. What if I'm able to put aside this amount of money, however small, for such time? What can I be able to do, say in 1 year, in 2 years, in 10 years? What can I be able to do? So savings may not be the only thing, because sometimes also when you just put your money with yourself, then it does not grow. Sometimes this money that you have, as little as it is, you can even invest it somewhere so that you earn passive income in it. And after some time, you're able to have maybe not enough, but at least you're somewhere to be able to sustain you. So it is important to tell everyone out there that it may look little right now, but there is power in just being able to put aside a little thing, something small. Just budget and intentionally decide, I'm going to have this, and this is part of my goal at the end of the day.
Okay.
Invest it somewhere, have passive income. There are so many options out there. When you come back in 10 years, it will have generated and created you maybe something enough, not enough, but somewhere.
Okay.
Yes. I help you do what you want to do.
I love the angle you're bringing in, Maureen, and I want us to focus a little bit more on that in the next short while, because we hear a lot about budgeting and we hear a lot about saving, but there's that aspect of a goal with a goal in mind that is missing for a lot of people. I know people who have, several hundred thousands in their bank account. They don't know what to do with it because they just know how to save. Kuna wengine wanakuwaga na mattress account, yeah, and they have quite they sleep well because the mattress is heavy with some notes underneath. They don't know what to do with the money, but the thing they know how to do is to save. And so I would want us to, I would want the two of you to walk with us practically when we are talking about saving or budgeting with a goal in mind, because sometimes we feel like we're in a hole and we don't know how to dig ourselves out of that hole. We are always praying for a better job or an opportunity or a jackpot somewhere, but that is not coming. So walk with me and help me know how I can use that 45,000 to be able to create something, have a vision to create something that will pull me out of that hole, so I can start getting some passive income, or even set up a business that can bring in more income, so that my status within the next 3 years or 2 years, I will not be at 45K. Maybe I'll have doubled to 90K. So we'll talk about that shortly. Also, if you have a question, I'm inviting you to send in your questions now. 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. We are talking about financing your vision. And if you have any questions for us, 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Before we answer the question I was asking earlier, there's this question here that probably is, Stella, you could take this one. It says, I've just started a hardware business and it is not well stocked because of lack of capital. I thought it wise to sell a good 2-acre agricultural land to finance the hardware. My husband says it's not wise. He says we should look for a loan instead, which I really dread. We have other land, about 20 acres. Which is the best option? Do I sell the land or do I take a loan? Stella.
Okay, thank you, James. I think that's a very a question that every entrepreneur asks. And what usually happens is they say, think big and start small. So when she needs to be able to define, when she says it's not well stocked, what does it mean? Does it mean that when the customers come, they don't find the products? So that should be very well clearly defined. When you say small, what are you comparing it with? So that is number one. Number two, she needs to be able to ask herself, other than the options that she already has on the table, can she be able to negotiate with the supplier? Because that is usually the easier one. You negotiate with the supplier, they bring you the goods, and then once you sell, you pay them back. All you need is discipline. Ensure that you pay them back before even you think of going to take a loan, before you think of going to sell that land. So the other option would be that land that you are selling. Why were you buying it? Because we buy assets with a reason in mind. Were you buying it to build? Were you buying it to dispose it off at a certain point to be able to help you achieve a certain goal? So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself and agree. What is it that will make you, what is the best decision on the table? Can you even borrow from friends before you go to the bank? Are there people out in your network? How is your social capital? Have you built the right social capital? Because you could be having friends, but friends who don't come in for you during the hard times. So that is another avenue that you can use. And borrowing from the bank for a new or a young business is a no-no for me. It's a no-no.
Okay,
because you need to understand your business first before you bring in debt from the bank or other institutions that offer credit or in that kind of a manner. So for me, if I was to choose, first of all, I would talk to the supplier. If the supplier does not agree with or I don't agree with the terms and conditions, then I go to the next level, which is my social capital, before even I think of selling the land. And then the last option will be the bank. So that's the way I would be able to look at it. And of course, ask yourself this question. Is it that I am comparing myself to another hardware, or is it that the products that I have, I don't have enough products and the customers keep going or they don't get enough? So that is what the customers coming and not getting the product should be the driving force, not the other hardware that is doing well or that is well stocked.
Okay,
yes,
great.
That's how I would answer that question.
Great, thank you for that. So Maureen, taking us back to what I'd asked earlier. So here I am, 45. That's what I earn at the end of every month. And I have this dream, man. I have this dream. Maybe I dream of owning my own house, or maybe my ultimate dream is to be a farmer. I want to have huge tracts of land that I can do farming and just, supply food to the entire nation. But here I am stuck in this job. I only earn 45,000 bob a month. Where do I begin? Can you walk with me and show me the possibilities of how I can begin to see my dream become a reality? Maureen.
Well, just like I said, there is no money that is small money or big money.
Oh.
Begin somewhere. It could be 1,000 bob you're saving per month, but that 1,000 bob can take you places if you just intentionally and with discipline save it for a particular time or for a period of time.
Okay.
So I would say it could be as little as you think it is, but how about you budget your money? Yeah. From now, just let me say, like, this is the starting point. How about you budget your money? You earn 45,000.
Yeah.
How about I live as if I earn 40,000, for instance?
Okay.
Because if you earn 40,000, definitely there's a way you live your life.
Yeah.
So how about you live as if you earn 40,000? And that's purpose strategically, this 5,000 or whatever amount you set aside, I'm going to put it aside for this and this. And the best way to do it, we advise people, is have a standing order such that you don't get to access that money. And that money, as you have the standing order with the bank, you are able to channel it somewhere. And what we also encourage is don't just have that saving as a saving which does not generate anything. So after you decide, I'm going to put aside this amount of money, put it somewhere. There's a lot of passive income out here whereby we just channel our resources there, and then we are able to gain passive income out of it without necessarily working for it.
You see, Maureen,
so
for a good number of us, that somewhere is what we struggle with. Maybe for you, because you talk finances, you teach about finances, you have an idea of the various options that are available. But to the regular wananchi like me, when you say put that money somewhere, that is where mi nakwama. Somewhere ni wapi? Where can I put 2,000 bob or 5,000 bob or 1,000 bob per month and it brings in some returns? I seriously don't have an idea. And so you find a lot of people will leave that money in their bank, or pengine wengine wataitupa kwa sako, wengine wataiweka kwa mattress account. So where do I take that money?
There are many options out here. Let me just mention a few. There is money market funds. Money market funds have come in nowadays, and you can have many financial companies offering such investment opportunities where you are able to put your money in such an account, and then there's something called daily compounding. So that money is compounded daily at a certain rate. And after a particular number of years, maybe whatever you've stated down, you're able to get back your money with interest that has accrued on it. Those are money market funds. And right now we have companies that even have as low as 2,000 bob a month. And maybe there are others which are even less. So it is just upon us to go out there in the market and just research. I tell people, sometimes we say we do not have information, but when you go to your phone, most people are on Facebook, Instagram, and all that. You can just type investment options in Kenya, and then you find all these options are out there. Like the money market funds in Kenya, find out what companies are offering this. Purpose to open an account, have a bank or a standing order that is able to channel some amount, even 1,000 bob, to that account every month. And let it just be something you intentionally do over a period of time, and you may be able to see an increase. There is stock market whereby you can buy shares of a company. It looks very complex, but it is not as complex as we think, because sometimes it just takes you to decide, I want to actually be part of a certain company, and I buy shares. What happens with shares is after some time, they go high or they go low. According to how the shares move, you can sell and earn extra income. So all this information is out there. It may look a bit complex, but it is not complex. It is just about us getting to research. Just go to the internet and research how these things work and what are the options I can take. And once you get depositing your money into such channels and many others, we may find ourselves being able to generate money without necessarily having to work so hard for it.
Okay.
Because at the moment, if you tell someone who works from 9 to 5 and maybe they do not have pretty much a lot of time to do many things. So when you tell them, oh, start a side hustle, well, it can work, but sometimes it could be a bit difficult because of the time constraint.
Time factor,
So passive income really comes handy to help us just be able to generate that little income. And there are many other options, even in banks. Banks have this, are they called fixed deposit account? Yeah, just talk to your bank. They have fixed deposit account whereby you deposit a fixed amount and it earns also interest on it. So passive income is out there. It is just us to ask. It is just us to research, talk to our banks, and be able to know what we can do about it.
Stella, I'm just wondering, because when it comes to some of the things that Maureen is telling us, a lot of people are skeptical and a lot of people are afraid that they may lose their money, because we've seen quite a number of stories out here in the media where people invested in this company or that company or this, alafu pesa ikapotea. And so you find a lot of people are so scared of that. They're thinking, at least this bank I know has been there for many, many years. Inajua haianguki. Or let me just keep this money for myself. We are getting into a place, even some circles, you're thinking, a good number of circles have also gone down the drain. So how do we overcome all this? Because we are so afraid to lose even the little that we have.
Okay. Let me say this. There's what we call risk-taking. In life, risk-taking is every day. Crossing the road is risk-taking.
Yes.
Eating that food that you are eating is risk-taking.
Yes.
So we cannot run away from this. So what we are just saying is that we need to take those risks no matter what. But what are some of the conditions that you need to put for yourself when you are taking those risks? First of all, you need to know, you need to assess yourself and know what risk can I be able to take as an individual. Then now, once you have made that decision, you do research. The problem we have is that our people don't want to research. And I would say this, when you don't research, what happens is you end up investing in the wrong places.
Yeah.
And I was use this example that when somebody comes to you with a lucrative idea, do you jump into the idea or do you give it a thought? And most of the time, this is what I get every day. Like people asking me, Stella, do you think this is a good idea? And I will tell them, go do research, get to know about that company before you come to me and ask me if it is a good idea, because I want you first of all to know. So the first thing we don't do, or what people don't do, is research. You need to research the company that you want, or the bank that you want to invest with. So you minimize the risks. And then the other thing that takes us that makes us lose money is greed.
Okay.
So we need to manage our greed. You are telling me that I will earn 4% per day, or 4% per week, or 20% per month. Where on earth can we make this money?
Yeah.
So the problem and the reason why most people have lost money is because of greed.
Okay.
It's not because the company, there were warning signs. You could see the red flags even from the day you are putting your money there. But because of your greed, you took your money to that place.
Yeah.
So that is the other thing. You need to manage your greed so that you are not carried away. In investing, there's what we call high risk, risk and return. So the high risk, high return, low risk, low return.
Yeah.
So you cannot start asking for low risk and high return. It doesn't work. It's like the law of gravity. When you jump up, you must come down. So those are the facts that are there on the table. The other thing maybe we need to be able to look at when you're doing investment is to be able to test the waters, not with so much, but at least test the waters. If it is money market you want to invest in, just try and see, is it really working? Is money market working? Do your research by asking people. And if people have lost money, ask them the story, what happened behind the scenes, so that you also get to that meaning. So what we need to know and what we need to understand is, if you stay at the fence, you'll never do anything. You need to get into the waters. If you have to lose that money, lose that money, learn from that mistake. But we are saying, do research, minimize the loss, minimize that risk by doing research, and getting experts who also help you, those who have walked the journey.
Okay, great.
So that is what I could be able to do.
So shortly, Stella, you'll tell us, back to my story of 45K, and I want to become a farmer. I want to grow food. I want to feed Kenyans. Now, you've talked, the both of you have talked about looking into different options where I can start investing my money and getting some returns. Is that the only available opportunity? Because I'm thinking, hey, that one will take long. Nitaanza kufanya farming nikikuwa mzee sana. Are there other options that I can look at that can help me begin, even if it's on a small scale, but actually begin to see my vision become a reality? Because I believe that sometimes when you taste just a bit of what the big picture could be, it gives you energy and it gives you encouragement to keep pushing even further, because you can see this thing, I'm actually doing it. Like the person who said they do charity work, they do it small scale, but they're so convinced. That's why they said, me, if I get money, I'm just enlarging what I'm doing, because they have tasted and they have seen the goodness of it. So what are other options that you can give me for me to be able to begin to see this dream become a reality? If you have any questions for us, 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Financing your vision is what we are talking about. It's about 17 minutes actually before we get to 9. And I'm hanging out with Stella Chepgeno, and Maureen is also with us here. Both of them talk issues money. If you want somebody to talk to you and help you with your personal finances and how to plan better, these two ladies are amazing at what they do. God has gifted them with that, and we thank the Lord that they were able to join us today to be able to give us some insight. So Stella, back to you. So apart from saving, you're investing, it will take years, man. And I have this thing that's burning on the inside of me. This is my vision. Nataka nikuwe mkulima. Are there other options that I have? Because I feel stuck in this job. I'm only getting 45K. What else can I do?
Okay. The other thing that you can be able to do and that can help you is, of course, once you have identified unataka kuwa mkulima, the next thing is to ask yourself, what does it cost to be a mkulima? Where do I start? Like I said, think big, start small.
Yes.
So I have seen people who, if you are saying you want to be a mkulima, let's assume you want to do poultry farming. What does it cost to start poultry farming small? It costs a hen and a cock, to be able to get them together in somewhere. They lay eggs, they get the chicks. You don't eat the eggs, so let's agree on that. You don't eat the eggs so that they can hatch.
Yes.
And you make more. What does it cost to start that? Let's start from there. It costs less than 2,000 shillings. I've done that calculation. With 2,000 shillings, you can be able to start that. So let me say this. It is not about how much. It's about taking action. Because even the people who have how much are who have not taken action, they will not go anywhere. So it's about taking action. You have agreed, this is what I want to do. Go start doing that thing with what you have in your hand at that particular point in time. Some businesses don't require capital. They don't require capital. They just require you to talk. They require you to connect person A and person B, and you earn your money. The other things you can do is partnerships, which I don't highly encourage, but worst case scenario, partner, you have the vision and there is somebody with the finances. You can partner 50-50, and then you are able to put up your vision. So not all the time do you need to have the cash ready, but you need to be able to action by starting small, even though the vision is big. The mistake most people think is waiting to start big. That is where the problem is. If you know that you can go to Gekomba and buy a shirt, 10 shirts at 100 each, that is 1,000. You come and wash it and iron or whatever you do, or you iron it and you go and sell it for 500 shillings. What stops you from going to Gekomba? So the problem is not the amount or the money. The problem is within us. We have to deal with our ego and our shigo.
Yes, guys. Kuna kuwaga na shigo.
Kuna shigo pia yetu. So you have to deal with the ego that we have and the shigo, so that once you deal with that, because we feel like that does not belong to me. But the people who have succeeded, mostly they have done the dirty job at the beginning when we did not know. We have only seen them when they are great, but we don't know their story. Dig to their story. They went to these markets and they got whatever they were able to get. They came and sold very early in the morning when you are still sleeping. So what I say is, it's not how much, it is the willingness to start, and the willingness to start where you are. And let me just share a short story of someone who wanted to help children with scholarship, and they were earning minimum wage. But what they did, they started putting aside something. Ikifika 5,000, wanaenda wanalipia mtoto shule moja. The wife joined in. And they started doing it together. So before long, people started noticing that this person is struggling, but is paying school fees for somebody else. They joined in. They wanted to join in this thing. So it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about the willingness to start where you are. If you have 10 shillings, ask yourself, what can 10 shillings do to me? Because it is the multiplication of what you have that makes the sense. Wow. It is not the wanting to have so much. It is just multiply whatever you have in your hands. If you want to go back to the Bible, look at the people who are given the talents. You know, ask yourself that story, dig into that story, and get to understand that you need to be able to action. You need to be able to do something for you to be able to get to the next level. So it's not about, you know, starting big. It's about actioning that thought that you have right there and then.
Wow. Maureen, I'm just thinking about what Stella is saying, and I think it's so profound. Would I be right to say, Maureen, that maybe the problem with a good number of us is that we don't want to think and we don't want to put in the work?
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. That is true. We don't want to think. We don't want to put the work. We don't want to start small. We want to start big. So that's a big problem. And what we also encourage businesses, because that is what we deal with mostly, is after you have started small, you have proven that this business is actually working. It can actually give you capital. At least we give ourselves a window of like 6 months. 6 months is good enough to maybe ascertain if a business is actually working. It is not bad to ask for help. That is where business loans come in. And we intentionally decided as a company to educate people on debt management, because we just do not want you to come and take a loan and then that loan turns out to a debt trap or something, or maybe gets you into a place where you cannot get yourself out of it. So once you have proven that my business can work, and you know and you've acknowledged you do not have enough money, seek for help. Get out there, take a loan. There are business loans that are structured in ways that can actually pull you from one stage to another. And when you just plan for that loan, that's why we educate people and we tell them, before you take a loan, just make a projection. What will be my monthly repayments? Because I've already been in this business for like 6 months. I have seen this is the potential of this business. How much am I able to pay monthly for this loan if I'm able to get this amount of capital, if I'm able to get in my inventory to such kind of levels? So you see, such kind of planning helps you also know that I'll not just take a date blindly. That's not what we encourage. We encourage you to go for those loans, but be able to actually plan for those loans and ensure you're able to service them within your business, and let it not suffocate maybe whatever you already put up. That's why we say cut your cloth according to your size. Just go for what you want and grow gradually. We have been working with SMEs and we have seen them grow gradually. Like now they have an inventory of like about, let me say 5,000. That is so little. But you'd find in like 1 year or so, or let me even give it 6 months, this person has grown from an inventory of 5,000 to even 20,000. What does that mean? This person is growing, albeit gradually, but they are growing. If you take something little, make something out of it, pay back what you're supposed to pay, reinvest it back, then that cycle continues. You keep growing. Before you realize, your business has transformed from a micro business to maybe a small and medium enterprise. Before you realize, it's transformed to a large enterprise. And that is how success stories begin. So one thing I put out there, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's help out there, and it is there for you to beef up and move your business to another level.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maureen. I've got 2 minutes. Stella, I'm throwing out this question to you. This one says, Pastor Jimo and Maureen and Stella, kindly assist on this issue. My mother is retired and her pension is due soon. She isn't a business-oriented person, so she doesn't intend to start a business. How can we go about investing or deciding on what to do with the funds so that she is independent in the long term?
Okay, so what I would say to help that mom is that there are options out there. There's what we call annuity. There's what we call income drawdown, where you put in your money and they pay you. For annuity, they pay you for life. For income drawdown, they pay you at least a minimum of 10 years. So those are things that if they are willing, I can be able to take them through and for them to have an understanding of how it works.
Okay.
Those are the avenues that if somebody is not willing to put that money into any other use, because it's not good also to take your pension to go and start a business.
Yeah.
If you did not start then,
Yes.
don't take your money, your pension and go and start a business. So there is that, and there's also the fixed deposits that she can be earning an interest which she can use. So she's still preserving her money. There's also the treasury bond, but those are things that we discuss and be able to take her through that. So that's the advice I would give her, that she needs to take to places where it will give her income on a monthly basis without her stressing.
Okay.
So that is what we need to look at. Again, it depends on how much it is.
Yeah.
So we need to look at, there are so many other factors to consider, yes.
Great.
But those are the options that are out there.
Stella and Maureen, thank you so much for your time this morning. And I must say this, Stella, when you were talking about starting small, I was reminded of a lady I hosted a couple of months ago, and she lost her job when COVID hit. They had just, they hadn't even finished their house. They had bought a car, I think an eighth, somewhere huko Kitengela. They were in the midst of building. It had not even finished. They moved in there, and she started doing, she started a kitchen garden. And then she realized her neighbors want hamburgers. And then it hit her. 3 or 4 plots next to mine, the owners are not doing anything with them because they haven't found the money to build. And so she talked to the owners of those plots and told them, I will look after your plots. Yeah, we will fence them, lakini mnikubalishe nianze kufanya ukulima hapo so that the land is not idle. And that's how she started her business, just like that. So what you shared triggered that story. Thank you so much, ladies. We must do this again. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface, but I'm grateful for what we've been able to do today. Asanteni sana.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Our time is up, my friend. There are options. Usikae tu hapa useme uishe na aka ka 45,000 kangu na nataka kuwa mkulima. Begin. Enda ukanunue kuku moja. Stella amesema with 2,000 bob you can get kuku mbili zianze kutega mayai na usikule hiyo mayai asubuhi. Umeanza kuishi unono breakfast unakula mayai. Hapana, be patient and grow from there. In a couple of years you'll be looking back and saying, I thank God for Stella. I listened to her on a radio show and another lady called Maureen walinichanua sana. Well, kwaherini sana. Have a great day.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.